It's Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehotline.com, where we instantly improve the lives for families of critically ill patients in intensive care so that you can make informed decisions, have peace of mind, real power, real control, and so that you can influence decision making fast, even if you're not a doctor or a nurse in intensive care. This is another episode of Your Questions Answered, and in last week's episode I answered another question in a series of questions from my client Sue. The question last week was part 4 of My dad has end-stage HIV and is on ECMO in intensive care. Can he have a lung transplant? And again, that was part 4 of a series of counselling and consulting sessions with me. You can check out last week's episode by clicking on the link below this video. In this week's episode of Your Questions Answered, I want to answer another question from one of my clients, Michael, which is an excerpt from a phone and email counselling and consulting session with me. And the question this week is another case study. My 65-year-old dad had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest, and he's not waking up after the induced coma. How long will it take? So in this week's episode, I want to feature another great case study where I help one of my clients take the first steps in understanding why his 65-year-old dad hasn't woken up yet after the ICU induced him into a coma after a cardiac arrest. So you can read the dialogue and the excerpt of the one-on-one phone counselling and consulting session below this video in the written version of this blog, or if you're watching this on YouTube, just click on the link below and it'll get you to the website, to the case study, and you can read it there. So again, when I work with clients one-on-one, I can really dial into the finer details when you have a loved one in intensive care. The reality is you don't know what you don't know, and you don't even know what questions you need to ask. I talk to families in intensive care every day, and they're telling me the intensive care team are not answering my questions. And whilst that is often accurate, you also need to ask the right questions because you don't know what you don't know. So therefore, the best way to go forward is to speak to me directly, because then I can give you all the questions that you need to ask in order to find out what's exactly happening with your loved one and what the next steps are for you. So therefore, how can you become the best advocate for your critically ill loved one? How can you make informed decisions, get peace of mind, control, power, and influence quickly whilst your loved one is critically ill in intensive care? You get to that all-important feeling of making informed decisions, getting peace of mind, control, power, and influence when you download your free instant impact report now by entering your email below. In your free instant impact report, you learn quickly how to make informed decisions, get peace of mind, real power and real control, and how you can influence decision making fast whilst your loved one is critically ill in intensive care. Your free instant impact report gives you in-depth insight that you must know whilst your loved one is critically ill or is even dying in intensive care. Sign up and download your free instant impact report now by entering your email below. In your free instant impact report, you learn how to speak the secret intensive care language so that the doctors and the nurses know straight away that you are an insider and that you know and understand what's really happening in intensive care. In your free report, you will also discover how to ask the doctors and the nurses the right questions. Discover the many competing interests in intensive care and how your critically ill loved one's treatment may depend on those competing interests. How to eliminate fear, frustration, stress, struggle and vulnerability even if your loved one is dying. You get 5 mind-blowing tips and strategies helping you to get on the right path to making informed decisions, get peace of mind, control, power and influence quickly in your situation. You'll get real-world examples that you can easily adapt to your and your critically ill loved one's situation. How to stop being intimidated by the intensive care team and how you will be seen as equals. You'll get crucial behind-the-scenes insight so that you know and understand what is really happening in intensive care and how you need to manage doctors and nurses in intensive care, and it's not what you think. Thank you for tuning into this week's Your Questions Answered episode, and I'll see you again next week in another update. Make sure you also check out our blog section for more tips and strategies, or simply send me an email to support@intensivecarehotline.com with your questions. Or you can call me, find international phone numbers on our contacts tab. Also, check out our ebook section where you get more ebooks, videos and audio recordings, and where you can also get one-on-one counseling and consulting with me via Skype, over the phone or via email by clicking on the tabs off the top of the website. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehotline.com, and I'll see you again next week in another update.